After Marty Torres in 1991 asked me if I was mentally challenged, to which you know how I responded. Anyways, following that, he offered me some direction that would forever change my life. The ability to organize my thoughts and information, not only for speaking, but some would argue even more importantly, for writing. I call it instant structure. I also call it instant organization. It's also called the Aristotelian outline, named after the great-great-great-great-great-grandfather of linear structured thought. Perhaps some of you, if not all of you, may recognize it from English 101. This outline is the great-great-grandfather of all outlines. It's where all outlines are birthed from. And the reason we use this more often than not in public speaking is because it's the simplest and it's the clearest. More often than not, your audiences don't want to think. They just want to consume information. Therefore, you have to make it as clear and simple as possible. This outline allows for us to do that. Let's take a look at it, starting at the top. Introduction, the most important part of any presentation. The introduction is your one opportunity to make a first impression. The introduction is also called the attention getter or teaser. The speaker must purpose to grab the audience's attention. Anything can be employed: a short story, a quotation, a question, a poem, a song lyric, a statistic, a visual aid, something, anything that will grab the audience's attention and make them want more of you. Should be 30 to 60 seconds in length. That gives it tease appeal. You know what it's like to go to the movie theaters. If you get there on time, you get to watch anywhere from a half hour to 45 minutes of movie previews. If the producer, editor, whoever puts the preview together has done their job, they show you anywhere from 30 seconds to perhaps 2 minutes of something that makes you want to come back in 6 months and do what? Buy another movie ticket so you can see the rest of the movie. That's what your introduction should do. It should grab the audience's attention and make us want more from you. And to do this, it's really important to acknowledge two nevers. Never, number one, never use cliches. Cliches are overused terms, such as, good morning, everybody. Thank you all for coming. Today we're going to talk about, I'd like to thank so-and-so for having me here. And all of those cliches are okay. 9 out of 10 speakers will start that way. But let me ask you a question. Do you want to be just okay? No, you want to be the best you can possibly be. And one of the ways you do that when speaking is by having a great introduction. Never, number two, never introduce your introduction. What I mean by this is don't tell your audience what you're going to do. Just do it. If you've got a question, just ask it. Don't say, I'd like to ask you all a question. Then you've just become cliche. You've just become like everybody else who asks a question. If you have a question, just ask it. If you're going to tell a joke, just tell it. Think Nike swish. Whatever you are going to do, just do it. A wonderful example, one of the best examples I've ever had of an introduction, came in one of my classes that I was teaching. Actually, the first class I taught in my career, 1995, Cal State Los Angeles. The class met at 7:30 in the morning, Monday through Thursday in East Los Angeles. To be anywhere in East Los Angeles at 7:30 in the morning, you had to leave at like 3 a.m. or you're going to be late. There was this one young woman who always impressed me. She was always early, not on time, always early. And she was always dressed absolutely fantastic. I mean, she looked like she was ready to go to a nightclub. She always looked perfect. 7:30 in the morning, Monday through Thursday. Anyway, she got up to the front of the room and she was holding a brown paper bag. She dropped the paper bag at her side, looked at the audience and said, "It's warm, it's wet, it's soft." Arguably, the audience was getting a little uncomfortable, wasn't sure where she was going. All of a sudden, she reached into the brown paper bag and grabbed a handful of spaghetti and threw it against the wall. The spaghetti stuck. She walked over to the wall, pointed to the spaghetti and said, "These noodles are going to stay stuck to the wall for my entire presentation because I cooked them properly." Then she walked to the front of the room and said, "Class, today I'm going to teach you how to properly prepare spaghetti." It was an amazing attention getter. Now, if she had walked to the front of the room and said, "Today I'm going to talk to you about how to prepare spaghetti," one, I wouldn't be talking about her right now. And two, she would have lost a whole bunch of points for not doing anything to grab our attention. But instead, she basically seduced the class and then threw noodles at the wall. Then she told us what she was going to talk about. Today I'm going to talk to you about how to properly prepare spaghetti. She gave us her thesis statement. Just like the outline says, first introduction, grab our attention, then give us your thesis statement. The thesis statement is your speech topic, crystallized in one short, clear sentence. Again, I'll emphasize that. One short, clear sentence. Today, we're going to talk about how to properly prepare spaghetti. Next would be the preview. The preview is where you offer a roadmap for addressing the topic. The spaghetti speech topic might have gone something like this. First, we'll talk about the history of spaghetti. Then I will show you how to properly prepare the noodles. Then point 3, I will give you an example of a family recipe. However you want to break it down. I don't recall how she did it exactly, but your preview offers a roadmap. Notice the body has 3 points, and the preview I just gave you suggested 3 points. The mind likes 3s. Most speeches traditionally have 3 points. However, you can have as many as you like. You could have 2, you could have 3, you could have 4, you could have 5. I prefer 3, and 3 fits nicely on this form. So moving along, after you would give a preview for the presentation, you would give the body. That is the speech content, the body points, a mirror image of the preview. It's where you would address exactly what you laid out in the preview. Notice, really important, what goes between the body points. It's uppercased and bold, transition. A transition is a summary of one point and a preview of the next. Transitions give the audience clear direction to follow, like a roadmap. Transitions are the foundation of clarity. Speakers employ transitions to carry the audience. Again, audiences don't want to think, so it's the speaker's job to carry us smoothly through the body. Going back to the spaghetti speaker, an example might be in point 1. First, we learned about the history of spaghetti. Now moving on to point 2, we'll learn how to properly prepare spaghetti. Again, transitions carry the audience. They work like signposts on the streets, help us navigate neighborhoods and cities. Signposts within speeches help us navigate points. Again, an example, a really clear example would be, now that we understand point 2, let's move on to point 3. Following the body, you simply restate the thesis. If the thesis said, today we're going to learn how to properly prepare spaghetti, the restated thesis might sound like this. Today we learned how to properly prepare spaghetti. And the summary would simply be a restate of the preview. First, we learned about the history of spaghetti. Then I shared with you how to properly prepare spaghetti. And finally, we took a look at a family recipe for spaghetti. And then notice what it says next to conclusion. Second most important part of any presentation. The conclusion is your final opportunity to make an impression. Think of it this way. If you're in the real world, it's your final opportunity to get the vote. Your final opportunity to seal the deal. Your final opportunity to persuade the action. Your final opportunity to make the sale. Whatever it is, it's your final opportunity to do it. So you want to put just as much creativity into a conclusion as you might your introduction. So this is the structure you will be using to put together your informative presentation. Hopefully this little video has been helpful. As always, if you have any questions, please inbox me. And you can also see in your workbook, there's examples. I believe a California real estate example and a murder trial. And the reason I put a murder trial example in there is I had the privilege of working with a lawyer way back when, and that is just to demonstrate to you all that this structure can be used for anytime you have to stand up and offer a presentation with structured thought. I hope this was useful for you.